that thing finishes loading up, it'll do a little circle spinny thing.
I think it's ready.
All right. Give me 1 minute here.
All right, Steven, you're on the air. Welcome to Toast Dispatch Radio Show. What's your question? I was joking. He's gone. I scared him off.
You scared him away.
That was funny.
You didn't actually go live, did you?
Well, it says...
Oh, you did go live. I thought you were saying just to scare Steven off.
No. No, we're on the air right now.
Okay. Give me 30 seconds.
That's your question, Steve.
You should have acted like it's a home improvement show. This is I don't know what the home improvement show guys are called, but it was car show. This is Click and Clack. What's your car problem?
Come on, let's just start tweeting to people. Reddit, anything. Let's
I
get
just
some people on the
I
show.
sent it out to some different people.
Try Reddit real quick. Try NHL Reddit.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
What's that?
You don't want to do that. That'll be a mess. I'll send it on the Blues Reddit though.
Okay, send it on Blues Reddit, and then did you tweet it again?
Yeah, I tweeted it out just a minute ago.
All right.
And as soon as we're done with this, I'll just do the intro of the show and we can start talking about it until anyone comes on. I'm not getting anything back from the other guy. I don't know if you forgot or what.
Oh, you're kidding. Annie Malone, Mayday Parade will affect traffic. What is a Mayday Parade?
I've never heard of that parade before.
Mayday, Mayday. That's stupid. It's stupid. 0 viewers.
All right, just put it on Reddit too. So I'll go ahead and we'll just go ahead and get started and do it ourselves, I guess, if no one comes on.
All right.
You ready?
Yeah, I have no idea what I'm going to say.
All right. One last thing I'm going to pull up. If in case any Sharks fans do come on, I want to play back to them, us beating them in 2011.
What's that?
In case any Sharks fans do come on, I want to play the clip back for them of us beating them in 2011.
Oh, you've got that?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up now. And make sure you keep an eye on that corner thing down there to tell me if anyone comes on.
Okay. It'd be under viewers, and plus there'd be a box,
Viewers,
right?
there'd be a box, yeah.
How about Matthew Hurst?
I think he retweeted us a minute ago, actually. Let's see.
Kurt Price did.
Kurt Price replied, but I think Matthew Hurst retweeted.
Yeah, he retweeted the tweet. All right.
Do we have somebody?
Yeah. What's the gentleman's name? Joe?
Is that who you're seeing?
I see a blank and I hear some audio. Hey, Joe, is that you? Testing 1, 2, 3. And you're on the Toast Dispatch Radio Show. How can I help you? What's your question? Yes, the Blues are going to win in 4 games.
In 4? 4's your pick?
Yep. In 4, the Blues are going to win it. We have a special guest in the show today, Brian Elliott. Thanks, Brian, for coming on down, taking a second to come on down to the studios and to be part of the Toast Dispatch Radio Show. And I know you got a game tonight, but I think that just speaks volumes about you that you would, ditch practice to come out here and be on our radio show. So,
If
Moose,
the show
what do you
runs
got?
overtime, they can bring Elliott in to start.
Yeah, Moose, what do you got to say? Oh, here he comes. Oh, what are you going to say, Moose? I'm kicking San Jose's butt. Oh, that's the first thing he saw. Hey, Joe.
Hey,
How's it going?
not bad at all.
Did you see Moose? Do you know who Moose is by any chance before we start
Brian
the
Elliott?
show? Right. And there he is. Fear the Moose.
Beautiful.
All right,
All right.
Joe. Well, thanks for coming on the show. I'm off screen right now. We got this all run through a mixer, so you won't see me, but that's my dad over there. He's my co-host.
See me?
All
And
right.
so it's Nick and Nick. It's the Nick and Nick show. So
Ah,
We can
All right.
confuse people with that.
He's Nick, and I'm Nick.
Did you get my my message on Reddit?
Probably, although I've already forgotten what it says.
Okay. I sent you over a little rundown on the show. We'll just be running over basically just a breakdown of San Jose, their last series against the Predators, series against the Kings, and then talk about the Blues series coming up. We just like to keep it lighthearted. It's just a couple guys talking about hockey.
Yeah, I was listening to the last episode last night to get a feel for it, and I think I like the format.
Okay, great. Well, thanks.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go ahead and jump right in then.
All
right, you're listening to Toast Dispatch Radio with Nick and Nick, and we have on today as a special guest Joe. He's a Sharks fan from San Jose. He's going to be helping us preview the Blues and Sharks Western Conference Finals here. And if you get any other credentials, you can go ahead and spout them out, your Twitter or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a quick correction. I'm actually from San Diego.
San Diego. I saw something else in your bio that said San Jose. I might have misread that.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I actually produce a baseball podcast called Podcast for Rain Delay. That's a thing I've been doing for the last few episodes. So that's a thing that's happening. I'm very active on the Twitters. I'm at Joe M. Cuevas, JoemCuevas, and I usually write science or the Sharks or other things going on. Yeah.
All right. Joe, give me the Twitter account again real slow. Is it so Joe at MCV?
Joe M. Cuevas, and Cuevas is spelled Cuevas. And I dropped some peanuts.
Cuevas. Is it? But it's not Joe Cuevas 75, is it?
No, it's hold on, let me.
I wonder why I'm just trying to bring it up. I got Joe Cuevas, and well, you know what? Maybe maybe I messed up.
Let me. That there into the GChat thing.
Okay, you see on the chat on the side.
I should see him on the chat. There he is.
Pull that window chat.
Oh
chat
yeah.
up. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Joe. Oh, Joe M. That's the part I missed. I missed the M part.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's reasonable.
M. Cuevas. Oh, okay, I get it now. I was gonna send you stuff while we're talking. We always do that. And plus, we gotta look at your Twitter and see what you've been up to, Joe M. Cuevas. QUE. Ah, there it is. Joe M. Cuevas.
Lots of live tweets of the San Jose Nashville series actually.
Okay, that's what we'll find there then.
Yeah.
Oh, Nick, I'm just skipping around. You can go.
Okay, so we'll just go ahead and jump right in then. So Sharks, they're coming fresh off a 7-game series, just like the Blues had against the Predators, and that was a complete blowout in Game 7. But it was pretty close throughout the rest of the series. You got any thoughts on that?
It's really interesting because you've had the home team dominating throughout that series. So we would play a game at SAP, and then the Sharks would win, and then we'd go to Bridgestone, and then the Predators would win, and it was sort of, and because of the nature of the playoff format, we had to go to Game 7 at SAP, and then the Sharks just sort of blew it out of the water. And this is something I've been talking to other fans of other series and other fans who've just been following the playoffs fairly closely to begin with, and I think the Bridgestone crowd is a really interesting crowd in hockey, and I do think that it was potentially a factor. If not, I don't think it was a deciding factor at all. I do think the Predators definitely played a better game of hockey while they were at Bridgestone, and the Sharks played a better game of hockey while they were at SAP. But I do think the crowd at Bridgestone was a little reflective of how well the Predators were playing at that point in time, especially because was it 1 or 2 games of that series that went into overtime at Bridgestone? Was the one?
I think it was one at Bridgestone. It was just one of them, I think.
Yeah, and then that was the one where Pavelski was knocked into Pecorine, and that was deemed a no goal. But yeah,
was that an overtime called off no goal?
Yeah, it was an overtime. Pavelski was knocked into Rene. He put the puck in, but it was deemed a no goal in overtime.
Oh wow! You don't see overtime goals called back too often at all. I definitely think the interference call was fair. I think that's a perspective which might be considered dissenting
but among Sharks fans,
Coming
but
from a
he
Sharks
was
fan, yeah.
knocking the goalie. So even if he wasn't interfering with the play, it was Pecorine was definitely being interfered with by some force, to the point where you have another player laying down on top of you. You can't exactly stop the puck that they're trying to put into your net.
Mhm.
It's not a thing. So it's
Yeah, so going back even farther, you guys took down LA then in the first round, much like the Blues. We both exercised some of our first round demons. Chicago for us, and then LA for you guys.
absolutely.
How did that feel to get over them for the first time?
I felt pretty good, save for the one win the Kings had, and that was me just flashing back to the reverse sweep, the infamous San Jose reverse sweep, where a few seasons ago, San Jose actually managed a 3-0 lead in first round playoffs against the Kings again, and then they proceeded to lose the next 4 games. So that one loss had me think back to that, but it was a very satisfying win. I think not only for the team but also for the fan base, where all of the California teams sort of have that whole rivalry going on. The rivalries against the Kings being a little more intense than the rivalry that San Jose and Anaheim have against each other.
I refer to it as the 3-way triangle of hate between all those teams there.
We call it the Battle of California.
The Battle of California.
But I think that actually made me more disappointed that Anaheim didn't make it to round 2, because it would have been super satisfying to have sort of definitively won that Battle of California in playoffs.
So how long have you been a Sharks fan, Joe?
I roughly 2011, I want to say. It's hard to pinpoint an exact season.
Hey, that was not a great year to start.
No,
because you're thinking. I mean, that if it was 2011, then it was Elliott versus the Sharks in round 2, right?
That was round 1.
I mean, round 1. Yeah, round 1.
That segues actually into a clip we got real quick that I wanted to play for you.
Yeah, it was.
All right, let's go live to the clip.
And the 11th Scott trade. It's been 10 years since they won around.
Oh man.
I'm having flashbacks.
Oh, in 5.
Yeah, it was 1-4 Blues.
Now I don't know if you remember, but the big story for us back then was that Halak was in the net to start game 1 and lost.
This Sharks
Game
beat
2,
him in
he was in
overtime,
the
actually.
net to start, and then he got run by Jackman, our defenseman, and we cheered because it knocked Halak out and brought Elliott in, and then we went on to proceed to win 4 games straight, I believe.
That Elliott's he's a great goaltender. I've actually been following the Blue Series very closely. At this point, I probably consider them my central team. So this is an interesting matchup.
You got a conflict of interest going on there.
I definitely do.
Now, did you get my tweet? That was my first question for you. Or another question, I guess I had for you was the first one. Maybe is I sent a tweet over to you. And
are the Sharks getting real?
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
That's what we do at the Parody website. We're always trying to be goofy. So do you think they're getting old? Is there any truth to that?
Okay, real quick for anyone listening, what's on Twitter he just sent over is he took a Photoshop of a Blues and Sharks matchup and took the Shark. He looks real old. He looks kind of Hans Moleman from The Simpsons now. He's got glasses on. He looks old and his teeth are gone.
Oh, teeth are gone. Can't hurt anybody if you don't have any teeth, especially if you're a shark.
As a marine biologist, I can confidently say that the average lifespan of a shark in the wild is roughly 20 to 30 years. We've got a few players who are slightly older than that. We've got Joe Thornton. He's one of the older players in the NHL, isn't he?
He is. He's definitely been around for quite a while.
Yeah, he's mid late 30s, and part of that is we've actually got 3 players on our team right now who are current or former San Jose Sharks. Joe Thornton, Joe Pavelski is our current captain, and we also have Patrick Marleau, also sort of an older guy. I think he was the draft class right after Joe Thornton. Yeah, that sounds right. But Marleau and Pavelski are both older, definitely older players. We've got some other older players there too. I think they don't really seem to be slowing down as far as I can see. It's definitely something to be potentially concerned about, but I think at this point in their careers, it's bringing more experience than it is a slowing. And you want that sort of leadership coming into this deep in the playoffs, especially as well, where you've got these older players who've seen success on the Sharks, and in some cases success on other teams as well. Joe Thornton was also captain of the Bruins when he was on the Bruins a long time ago.
That was ages ago.
That was ages ago. But you've got that. You've got these older players. You've got these players with experience, and they don't seem to be slowing down. And Jaromir Jagr is 44, and he's still going strong. Down over there in Florida. But I'm not entirely convinced that the Florida Panthers aren't just a retirement home to begin with.
Send all the old players down there to take it easy for you.
You got Roberto Longo. You've got Jaromir Jagr.
Now, Nick Jr., the Blues, what are they averaging? Almost 40+ hits a game since the Chicago series.
Really,
started?
they have. They've been
Yeah, but we've got Roman Pollock now.
Oh no! So we got to deal with the Pollock door here.
Hey, Nick,
do you guys still say that in San Jose? You got the Pollock door?
He might not even know what that is.
Did you ever hear that story?
It's a line that. Yeah, that's it. Send him the tweet if you want. You got that?
I'll see if I can dig that old one up. I've got a Photoshop here that we did of it, but
I only
I
mentioned.
saw something from that earlier in the playoffs.
Okay,
so it's still around. It's not prevalent, but it's still around.
Okay,
but he's out. He's down here now. He's doing some good work.
Mm-hmm.
So I mentioned that I'm wondering if the Sharks have the grizzled veterans that bring something to the table in the conference finals here in favor of the Sharks, but. I just wonder if they might be getting a little tired. Maybe we'll soften them up the first 2 or 3 games and really take advantage of it in game 4, 5, and 6 if it goes that long. That's my thinking, at least, that there's a possibility that could play into our hands.
Definitely, that's one way this could go, especially because I think one thing that helped San Jose going into round 2 is that they did finish their round 1 fairly early, all things considered.
Mm-hmm. 5 games. You definitely save some energy doing that.
Yeah, and they got to rest up. They got to watch the Ducks and the Predators wear each other out, and then you had a fairly worn out Predators team going into round 2, but a fairly rested Sharks team going into round 2.
Hey, so Joe. Oh, sorry, Joe. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. I think the length of those series were definitely a factor going into round 2, and we've got fairly tired Blues and fairly tired Sharks going into round 3, and with the older Sharks that could impact the series.
Well, that's a fair assessment. The Blues are probably getting just as tired.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? We're really piling up on you. There's Nick, and now we've added another St. Louisan, local podcaster. Now, you know what? I got Lance and I got Logan stuck in my head, and I forget which one is which now, your son or you.
Well, when you just think old, think of Lance, so that's me.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, Lance, you're on the air with Joe. Joe's from San Diego, but he's a Sharks fan, and he's
Good.
been
It's nice
kind
to
enough
have
to come
you
on the
on the
show.
show.
Yeah. And
Glad to be here.
Hey, you know what? Before I forget, we can't get too far into the show without me. Normally at the beginning of a show, we try to make sure that everybody's comfortable and relaxed and just having a good time. So, I've got to ask you, Joe. You ready for your big question? Start
Absolutely.
out? Okay, so to help you feel more comfortable, Joe, are you now, or have you ever been, a card-carrying member of the Communist Party? Your reply, sir.
I plead the fifth.
Okay.
I can neither confirm nor deny that I am secretly Joel Cohen, writer of... Shoot, I don't even remember what that movie was called anymore.
When you said Joe Cohen, I thought you were going to say Jesse Cohen from All the King's Men podcast. I thought maybe you knew him. He was like a rival. He does the podcast up for L.A.
No, I was making a Joel Cohen joke because they made the Cohen brothers did a movie earlier this year.
You know, somebody told me
about
that.
communists.
I swear I have not seen that movie, but Pat who's it, Marlowe? Charlie Marlowe.
Charlie Marlowe, yes.
Said that
Local
he
news
referenced
anchor.
that too,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Well, did you get that from the movie?" I'm like, "Well, no, I got it from what actually happened."
Yeah. Hollywood Blacklist.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely Charlie Marlowe and not Patrick Marlowe. So
Yeah, Patrick Marlowe's.
No, we didn't have Patrick Marlowe on our show.
Okay, well, now that you're feeling more comfortable, Joe, and we've cleared the air that you're not, part of the party
Well, he
anymore,
never
at
did
least
deny
not
it
today.
entirely, I gotta say.
Or maybe after San Jose loses, though, he loses his faith in the Sharks.
And then I get
Capitalism-
traded to
capitalism-
Scott St. Petersburg.
Right.
You can play in the KHL now.
Okay, Nikki, bring us back to a serious note. Okay, let's
Okay,
talk
well,
hockey. Too much kidding around here.
Okay. How about this? I do feel like it's a little bit rigged, the NHL cover vote.
Yeah.
Because we have now it just so happens that the Western Conference Finals is the Sharks and Blues, and the final two cover athletes is Tarasenko and Pavelski.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
convinced that they're not just going to pull a picture of a face-off that Tarasenko and Pavelski have from this round and then just make that the cover.
Yeah. Oh, you think they're going to combine them?
I feel like they're going to intentionally tie the vote and then make the cover an action shot from this round.
That would be I don't think they've ever done that before. That'd be an interesting take
No.
on that.
I've never done that.
Yeah, no, but it's you've got the tense playoff atmosphere going into that. You've got two of the better players in the league right now,
Mhm.
and I don't know who I want on the cover. I'll be honest, because I don't think there's a full Madden curse with NHL, but I think there's a slight one.
There is a slight one. There about 80% of the players that end up on the cover end up hurt the next season. That's not as
Yeah.
bad as
Mhm.
football, but there a lot of them have a bad season or they end up hurt the next season.
I think Gronkowski was the latest Madden cover athlete was announced. We'll have to keep
Yep.
an eye on him.
Keep an eye on him for getting hurt in the mini camps and stuff.
Yeah.
To take that one step further, I heard that that stat, that 20% of the podcasters in that local city start losing all their hair.
Well, that's already happened to me. So.
So that could be dangerous for
So
both of us.
wait, so you're cursing yourself now, is what you're saying?
Right, basically. Hey, somebody else popped up for a second, but I think it was the wrong number.
They dialed the wrong podcast.
they butt dialed the wrong podcast.
It's
That might
even
be
worse.
what happened.
I sincerely.
Hey, is this where I go for the Blackhawks Kings series now? Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Oh wow! I just got to say one thing about San Jose fans. I did a radio podcast on iTunes and Shout Engine yesterday, and I actually got a lot of San Jose fans to download it. I had 150 downloads in just about 4 hours,
Wow.
and
nice.
about 40 or 50 of them were from the San Jose area. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Hey, quick question. How do you like to track your podcast stats?
I've got a couple different analytic things. With our YouTube cast, I got YouTube Studio,
Mhm.
and then Shout Engine, which I do it through, shows me which ones were downloaded via themselves and which ones were downloaded via iTunes. It gives me zip codes. It gives me countries. It breaks it down pretty well.
That's
Nice.
really useful.
Yeah,
Hey, you
it
guys,
is.
we got. I want to mention real quick. We got Jamie Benn in from Dallas. He's on the golf course down in Texas somewhere. Well, Benjamin, what do you got?
Just excited for the Blues game tonight. Can't wait to see what we got in game one.
So you're not disappointed about losing against the Blues?
No, I'm not. I'm not actually a Jamie Benn fan, but
Okay. All right. I just thought I can't see your picture and we can't see you, so I just assumed it was
Yeah.
Jamie Benn.
yes,
That was
no,
that was a safe
That's a
assumption to
reasonable
make.
assumption.
I thought it was Benjamin Franklin myself.
no.
Okay, please introduce yourself, newcomer.
I'm Ben. I'm actually from Minnesota, but I grew up a Blues fan, and I'm cheering for the Blues in this playoffs.
All right.
Okay, now it's
Glad to have
4
you
to
on the
1.
bandwagon.
Joe, you're down
getting
4 to
big
1,
time
man. You better
outnumbered.
start making some phone calls.
If this was a bar fight right now, you'd be losing
oh
badly.
yeah,
I think.
he's in trouble.
Where do I get Brent Burns? Does anyone have his number?
Oh no,
John Scott? No.
that's All-Star MVP John Scott to you.
All right, Nikki.
All-Star MVP Captain Sniper John Scott.
Oh yeah.
Nikki, I'm reeling it back in. We're a parody website, funny Toast Dispatch radio show, but I'm reeling her back in for some serious questions. Joe,
Yes.
we got Brian Elliott. I mean, you got Martin Jones.
Yes.
So, what's your take on that? And I want to mention too, the last 2 series Elliott has dominated. and in turn we have won.
Yeah, I would definitely agree that Elliott's goaltending has been insane over the last 2 rounds. And
thank you. You can bow. Just bow one time. One little bow. Okay.
Like again, the Blues have become my central team over this playoff campaign, and I definitely think Moose has been a great part of that. He's got a great goalie mask, and he's got great goaltending sensibility, and a lot of shots that lesser goalies would have missed, he has gotten. So.
Well, Elliot agrees with you.
It's good. It's good.
He's holding up the Moose again.
Moose.
Yeah, I would definitely think that they're pretty even. If you look on the NHL at the stats when it comes to games won and shutouts and save percentage, they're almost even.
Right.
Elliott's save percentage is 9.29, and I think Jones's is 9.19 or 9.18, something
right,
like
right.
that.
They're both insane percentages, and they're both very good goalies.
Now, I got to say this real quick, Lance. You got to be careful now. You can't say that's my line. I start doing that when I'm looking at the stats on the screen. I always go, I think it was 918.3.
Actually, I don't have them up on the screen.
Cut it out.
Oh, you memorized. But the whole thing about it is, I think Elliott still faced more shots than any other goalie in the playoffs.
Right.
Yeah. Between Chicago and Dallas, those guys just pound shots on you every game.
And
it's also useful that we have a real goalie now and we don't have Niemi.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, thanks for that, by the way.
goodness.
Niemi gave us a game in Dallas.
You know what? The last night the GOES weather satellite was going over Texas, and all of Texas was lit up, and they think it was because of Niemi. He got so lit up. He's still. It's illuminating over Texas, and it was blinding the GOES weather satellite.
On another note, you know who I'm excited to watch tonight? Robbie Fabry.
Brent Burns? Oh.
Yep,
sure.
Fabry for sure. He's been fantastic these whole playoffs, and you need young guys like him to step up, and he really has.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's 20 years old and like 113 days, something like that, and he's and I don't have that in front of me, honestly.
Oh, 113 in 4 hours. 113 in 4 hours.
Yeah, and 38 seconds. Anyway, the player that concerns me the most for San Jose would have to be Burns. Because it seems like, unlike Parayko on our defense and Pietrangelo, sometimes they take one too many passes and don't shoot. It seems like every time that puck gets on Burns' stick, it's going towards the net, and it's quick. It's a real quick shot, and that's the player that concerns me. I think if the Blues can stop Burns, it's really going to make it huge for them in the playoffs. If they can't stop him, they're going to have some issues.
Well, that's
correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that Burns, he began as a defenseman, then he converted to a forward for a couple years at the Wild.
Yep.
And then he came back and he's a defenseman again, so he's really kind of a hybrid. He's not really a defenseman, he's not really a forward.
Yeah, and I think that's insanely useful as far as Burns' defensive sensibilities go, and also on the power play, where you need somebody who is going to be able to judge when they need to take that shot, and I think Burns just has this great intuitive feel of when he should be shooting and when he should be passing.
Mm-hmm.
You know that in the bigger picture when we're talking about what you guys just mentioned there, is that I'm wondering, not as much a question but just a thought, is the first 2 series the Blues really shut down all the top scorers that they faced. Who did they shut down in the first round, Nick?
Well, you had Kane, you had Taves, you had Panarin, and I think between those, Host too, and between those 4, I think there were just 2 goals, one for Host and one for Panarin, and Panarin's was an empty netter. And
how did Dallas do in the second round against the Blues?
Dallas, I think Ben was limited to just 1 goal. Sagan, of course, didn't play, so that was a big relief for the Blues. Sharp didn't have a lot of goals. Basically, all the top scorers get shut down, and teams have to
Patrick Kane actually had a goal in the first series. He had that game winner when he came around the net, and
that's true.
Elliott was stuck.
The overtime winner.
Elliott was stuck in the ice.
He
wasn't stuck on the ice. Bouwmeester was stuck on him.
I know it. But really, in effect, everybody was shut down. All the top scorers. So to me, that'll be a storyline here. For whatever reason, because of Elliott, because of the combination of different things that kept those guys away from, it was mostly Elliott, kept them away from scoring. I'm wondering, in the first 3 games, are your top guys, is Couture, is Burns, is Pavelski, I'm sorry. Kowalski. I'm going to start calling him Kowalski. Kowalski, Burns, Couture. Help us with Nick earlier was saying Cotier.
I wasn't saying
It was 6
it
syllables
wasn't
in
that
there.
bad.
It was 7 syllables.
Couture.
It's couture. Couture.
I was calling him Couturier for some reason. It's somebody else though. I think that's
Okay,
in the league.
but
Couturier.
well, it'd be interesting to see if we can shut those guys down, and I'm anxious to see how that's going to go in the first 3 games. Because if that continues, it's going to be incredible. The top players in the league playing the hardest they can possibly play cannot score when they should be scoring on Elliott. I mean,
that's going to be key.
Yeah, that factor is more. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that factor is more like if you can stop them from scoring, period, then you'll be able to establish the lead you need to. And obviously that's not an end-all be-all, but it's insanely helpful. And it's the sort of thing where, based on how the Blues have been playing, I think it's something that they are mindful of and something that they will be able to use to their advantage in this series.
And looking at the Sharks' top scores, it's really impressive.
Yeah.
Couture has 17 points in 12 games.
Yep.
Burns has 15 points in 12 games. And Pavelski's got 13 in 12. So they've got 3 players that are averaging more than a point per game in the playoffs, and that's really impressive.
It's very impressive. And you know the player that I'm looking for, the Blues, is going to be like that player that nobody expects to step up, but has been stepping up pretty well. I think the Sharks need to keep an eye on Berglund because Berglund's a +9, and when he's out there, he plays really, really tough and can play the defense. Even though he's not a defenseman, he can get them out of their own end. And he's been really impressive this playoffs, and I think that might be a sleeper player that San Jose may not be paying too much attention to.
Yeah, fans gave Berglund a hard time for the longest time in St. Louis. They're trade Berglund and this and that, but he's really stepped up his game ever since having that surgery in the off season. And
he's
back,
fresher because he hasn't played all season. He hasn't played all season.
And he's come back and he's looked like the forward that the Blues expected him to be. Which is telling me he might have been injured during that past year, playing through an injury or so.
Yeah.
But now he's back, he's good, and he's really been making an impact.
Hey Joe, real quick. Anybody that comes in this show becomes a friend of the Toast Dispatch. We want to mention to you that anytime, as the series goes on and you're at home playing golf and your team's out of it or something, and you want to come back on the show, you're welcome. Okay. And
Duly noted.
Okay, and and plus because you're right now a competitor of us, we're competing. In effect, our teams are competing. So then we're rivals. Even though we're friends right now, we're rivals. We have to be because Of course,
we've got a chance at the cup at
right. So with that in mind, you can make fun of us, and I'm sure I've given you lots of ammo at this point. But we look for things that you're going to be doing. So right now, the only thing I could catch, because you're a pretty bright guy, I can tell. But the only thing I got right now is that you're stuck on the word insane. So I'm giving you 4 different synonyms for insane. Okay, you ready? So for now on, the rest of the show, you can't say insane no more. You either got to say batty, bizarre, crazy, or deranged. I'm giving you 4 choices now.
I vote for deranged.
No, you can't say nuts on this show.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. So now, okay.
Nobody made that joke, but you just
deranged.
Right. You can no, but I'm giving you batty, bizarre, crazy, and deranged.
Out of their mind? I don't know.
Right. So no insane.
What about insanity?
No, that's crazy.
Darn it.
Okay. Hey, Joe, you're supposed to be laughing. I hope you know we're kidding.
So Brent Burns is like a hybrid between a deranged bear and a bizarre shark.
Yes, exactly.
Am I doing this correctly?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You are in the spirit of the game, that's for sure.
That reminds me. Do you guys remember during the Super Bowl halftime show? I think it was last year.
Left Shark?
Yes, Left Shark. That's what I'm going with. Left Shark. So I want to see a lot of Left Shark photos on Twitter throughout this whole playoff. I want to see it.
Left Shark. What's
Left
that?
Shark. I'll pull up a photo of him for you. But it was.
Okay.
I agree. That would be one of the most bizarre things to hit Twitter since the Super Bowl.
I've actually seen some pictures on Twitter. Yeah.
I think I saw a few
dancing sharks come out
of Left Shark and Teal.
Did they name the right one Teal?
Should.
They should.
Hey, I was going to ask you what's the huge deal about Paul Valsky, the cat out there? Everybody seems to love that cat.
Yeah. Can you enlighten us on that, Joe?
Yes.
Okay. So Before the Nashville series started at SAP, a stray cat wandered onto the ice, and it was a black cat. So people in their usual, let's go with crazy on this one, way, we're like, oh no, black cats are bad luck. Now the Sharks are going to lose in 4. And then the Sharks proceeded
bearing on the game.
The Sharks proceeded to win the next 2, and the cat was sort of deemed a good luck charm for the team, named after Joe Pavelski.
Pavelski.
Okay.
That was the easiest pun they could make.
Kowalski.
Well, I'm wondering something here. If I go to the Blues game tonight and I jump on the ice and run all around, will they put me in a room and let people watch me and give me all these
Well,
blues
you need
stuff?
to go out like an old-timey blues performer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Bring the saxophone.
Bring the saxophone out and
Play when the Blues go marching in. You'll be
they'll
a
put me in a
St. Louis
jazz.
treasure.
They'll put me in a jazz bar and they put a camera up and watch me. And,
Yeah, that sounds like a solid plan. And you'll be the team good luck charm for the next round. Because Canada can't be apparently.
There we go.
he's looking something up. Nick Senior's looking something up that worries me.
We're in trouble.
We're in trouble now.
Oh no.
What I got here is I was just thinking. Now, when did San Jose come into the league? Let's get a little history.
25 years ago, right?
94?
Yeah.
90s in the 90s, yeah, early 90s.
91?
Relatively speaking, you're just little children in the league still, right?
Yeah.
No,
Well,
we
they're not like
weren't
the
the original
Predators.
6, though, Nick, were we?
No, we were not. We
we
were
were-
not the original 6. We came in 68.
We were at the Dirty
Yeah,
Dozen
2006.
and part of the 12 teams.
Yeah, we were part of the Dirty Dozen.
Yeah.
So, see, what I was thinking about doing at some point, if things get a little slow on the show, I don't know how much longer we're all going to be doing this anyway, but I might
Right.
read, since there's so much history with the Blues, I thought I might just read a quick story or
You're
something,
not-
or at
yeah.
least an excerpt, because I don't think legally we can read the whole thing.
You're not reading out of the book tonight.
You guys, I'll find something while you guys are talking that's interesting, so
if-
that Joe knows a little more about St. Louis Blues history, and maybe there's a chance he'll come over to the he'll leave the dark side.
To
and come over
to the slightly different shade of blue.
Right.
To
Teal.
the slightly brighter blue, yes.
I have one question real quick.
Okay.
Nick Jr., Nick Sr., do you guys not get along because you're not next to each other like Logan and I on our YouTube page and our YouTube show, and we're right next to each other talking, and you guys are like in different zip codes and.
Well, I'll tell you what. If we get too close to each other, it starts to become like a Homer and Bart Simpson relationship, and he starts
There you
choking
go.
me
I see.
for distance.
Nope.
Joe, exactly.
So it's
real
for
reason-
everyone's safety here.
The real reason is because we got 2 computers set up, and we're really in the same room right now.
Yeah.
But I'm just out of his camera angle. I'm about six feet away from right now. We got 2 computers, so we can both look up different stats and spell
There
them
you
out.
go.
So then we look really smart, but not really.
I see. Hey, I got one big warning. If you start reading and I fall asleep and snoring, just go ahead and mute me.
Okay. Sure. we'll sound a foghorn.
Yeah, because I have a tendency when people start reading books around me, if they read them out loud, I will fall asleep.
We'll play a lullaby.
There is some conflict between Nick and I, and
Uh-huh.
because of the father-son relationship, of course, there's going to be some, but actually he's a great son, so he makes it pretty easy on his pops.
Oh.
Yeah. But
You're like, oh, I don't feel sorry
but
for you at all.
my creative side as to how I see things, Nick tempers because he understands it.
He
people in
calms it
general-
down.
Right.
Yes.
But I try to get really creative, and in my mind, I'm like, hey, they'll love it. And Nick's like,
No.
I kind of take the more
So,
grounded,
for
realistic approach to. I'm like, no one's going to want to hear you read out of your book for 30 minutes.
So,
It's my
for
stuff.
example, I had the idea that we could make up bedtime stories with the blues theme. We would just take the original bedtime story and mix it, and we could read it at the end of the show on the night shows, and we'd read it to our guests at the end. And Nick said, he goes, "It's stupid." It's
Little
stupid."
Mr. Berglund sat on his tuffet, eating his curds and whey.
Right.
Out came David Backus.
I'm writing this down. Keep going. This is good stuff. It's hard to find good material.
Come on, guys, back me up on this one. Nobody's going to want to listen on a podcast to a bedtime story, right?
Well, I think
I
if he
would
reads,
definitely listen to a podcast about bedtime.
yeah.
Dang.
Joe, you're not coming on our show anymore.
Okay, Joe.
Hey,
Wait a
hey,
second. One more time, Joe. Wait, we got to vote. Okay, vote number 1. Joe, yay or nay? You want the bedtime story for on the show again? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, and Lance?
I'm torn, but when you talk, you have to talk like this so that it
Right.
will put us to sleep.
I feel like that's a reasonable concession.
Oh, you put me to sleep.
Oh, boy.
It's not
Okay,
a bedtime story without voice.
It's what
Okay,
if we
well,
had
then,
Morgan Freeman reading it?
Oh, that would be awesome.
Okay, so
Morgan
there we go,
Freeman.
Nick.
I'll pull
I'm
some
gonna start.
strings.
I'm gonna take
Morgan
informal
Freeman.
surveys for next 2 weeks, and if I get enough people to say yes, then you can't tell me it's a bad idea because the people have spoken. All right.
Hey, you know what's funny, Nick, the senior?
Mhm.
This is what's funny.
Okay.
Logan and I do the same thing. I'll go to Logan and say, "Hey, Logan, what about this idea?" And I'd say probably half the time he'll say yes, and other times he'll go, "Dad, only people your age would get it." And only people
That's true. It's exactly
what he
what I
says
do.
to
It's
me.
exactly what happens.
and I understand that, but my big problem is, since I've watched hockey longer than Logan and been alive
Right.
more than Logan,
Right.
you know, I'll start talking and go off on stories like about Mike Liut and Wayne Babich
Thank
and
you.
Bernie Federko and Gary Unger and all this, and he keeps hitting me in the leg to shut up. Like, Dad, you've talked enough. Shut up.
All right.
That's why
so,
you guys don't sit together.
Now we got another guest, except his screen's dark.
Okay.
I don't see him. But Joe, you're the main guest, so you
Yeah, go ahead.
anytime you
What
want
were
to
you gonna
talk,
say?
say something.
Absolutely. So we were talking about the 1967 NHL expansion, I think, with the St. Louis Blues.
Yes.
So
Yes.
so there were 6 teams that joined there. There were the LA Kings,
Right.
the now Dallas Stars,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
St. Louis Blues, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, and then there was one more team.
Ooh, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, Dallas.
I know this.
Who would it
Come
have
on.
been?
Yeah, is this an open-ended question? Is this trivia here?
There are a few different ways you could phrase this, and yes, it's a trivia question.
Okay, let's see here. So you listed L.A., Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, St. Louis, the now Dallas Stars, and the Kings.
Wait, isn't that 6?
That's 6, though.
He's tricking us. He wanted to see
You
if we
listed
can
the Kings
count.
twice.
All right, let's do the Kings.
Oh, Nikki, you're cheating. God,
I was
you're a
cheating.
born
I was
cheater.
like, oh, that's 6.
You're very
What-
close.
was it the Ducks?
No,
No.
the Ducks are 93.
Oh, 93, that's right.
Hey, we got another guest. We just gotta stop for a second. We
Sure.
gotta ask you to introduce yourself. Now, that's the Sports Parody website. We like to kid around. ZZ King, you're on the air. ZZ
ZZ
Top.
Top, come on.
Oops.
Are you talking to me?
That
Because
was-
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just joking.
hey, my name's Mark.
Hey, Mark.
I'm in Wildwood, Missouri.
Hey, how's
Mark,
it going,
welcome to
man?
the show.
Thanks
Pretty
for
good.
thanks for coming on. We got Nick. We want to
I
introduce
saw the
everybody.
hangouts. I was like, hey, I can do that.
And we're glad you did. So, Nick, introduce everybody so everybody knows
So
everybody.
we've got, currently on the show is our main guest, Joe, and Cuevas, is that the last name?
Cuevas.
Yes.
Cuevas. Okay, I got that right. I'm surprised. Joe Cuevas. He's a resident San Jose Sharks fan. LA Sharks. They're moving next year. They're stealing all the teams.
They're switching everyone.
We've got not Logan, but
Lance.
Lance from the Drop podcast. And do we still have the other guy from Minnesota?
No.
Benjamin, I think Benjamin's gone.
He dropped out. Okay, so that's the other guest. And so welcome onto the show.
Thank
Now
you.
we got and that's Mark, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Well then, okay, hey man, chime in anytime you want to. You're obviously a Blues fan, being from Wildwood, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay.
So back
Hey,
to
Mark,
Joe's.
do you know the 6th 1967 NHL expansion team?
I was trying to give it when you guys were talking about it, and I don't have an answer yet. I don't know off the top of my head.
If it helps, they aren't technically in the league right now.
Oh, wait, Oakland,
it's
Oakland,
the,
Oakland, California
Seals.
Seals.
Golden Seals.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Golden Seals.
That was a good
California
trivia
Golden Seals, California Seals, Oakland Seals, California Golden Seals again.
Yeah, that's why I was
Awesome.
naming like 6 different teams.
Yeah.
That was a really good question because I was racking my head thinking, gee, I was running through all the active teams in my head like, well, it's not them, it's not them, it's not them, and I was drawing blanks. So Golden Seals, though, I forgot about them.
I think I think they left when the Rams left LA to come to St. Louis.
There you go. I have another question, and I bet nobody remembers this team except maybe Nick Sr.
All right.
I actually got to see the Blues play the Cleveland Barons.
Same
Remember?
team, by the way.
Oh, wow.
They were a relocation to the California Golden Seals.
Yep, you're exactly right. And they were bought out by a guy that didn't have enough money to keep them going, and after a couple of years, they no longer existed. Now they're a minor league team. But yeah, they had white, and their home jerseys were white and kind of a pinkish red. It was almost pink. And
Search.
they're
Let me just,
ahead.
you're jogging my memory, so I'm just going to take some stabs in the dark here.
Mhm.
That have been mid to late 70s, and they played maybe 1 or 2 years? 1 year?
that would have been 76 to 78, I believe.
Oh, so they did play 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's right when 75 is right when I probably started watching hockey and listening to Dan Kelly every game.
Yeah, and a lot of players left that team and went to other teams and actually got pretty good careers. But I tell my kids about that, and they're like, Cleveland, there's no team in Cleveland. I go, well, there used to be.
Yeah, the Sharks actually used that as their AHL team for a while, like I
Yeah.
said.
Yep. Interesting.
That was the you never get a well, I guess mistake by the lake, right?
Mistake by the lake.
Mistake by the pond.
So reeling this back in a little bit here, let's
Okay,
go
I'm
with
reeling.
everybody's series preview for the Blue Sharks series. Joe, why don't you start us off?
I got Joe.
Let's see. I took notes here. So we've got some Sharks special teams. We already talked about the interesting question of what position does Brent Burns play? Because he's this weird hybrid between a D-man and forward. Sharks being old as crap. We've got an interesting Washington Capitals matchup within the teams with Ward versus Brouwer here.
That is an interesting storyline.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's your prediction for who's going to win it and how many games? We'll go with that.
Sharks in 7, and it's going to be very close.
Okay. I respect it, but I cannot agree with that. I'm going Blues in 6 is my prediction.
That's not unreasonable.
I just think the Blues are going to win the first 2 at home. They'll split on the road, and then they'll win it. They'll win the next 2.
Yeah, that's not an unrealistic evaluation at all. I don't think. Yeah.
What do you think, Mark?
Should be Blues in 7 games.
All right, Blues in 7. And Lance, what are you thinking?
But cringing though.
I'm cringing at another series like this because I don't know if my heart or my fingernails can take it. But I think it's going to be a 7-game series, and it's like Joe said, it's going to be a close. It's going to be 2-1, 3-2 games, 1-0. I'll be very shocked if one team really takes it to another team like the Blues did against the Stars in that game and win 6-1 or 7-1. That would really, really shock me.
Same here.
I think both teams are in a really good space right now, having been following both of them very closely in this postseason. I also think that they're a good matchup for each other at this point, where their play styles are going to be hard things to solve. Where it's not that they haven't seen the play styles before; it's that they're going to have to account for those matchups during play itself.
Yeah, and I also think whichever coach makes the adjustments better,
right,
is going to get a huge edge. Is it going to be DeBoer? Is it going to be Hitchcock? That makes the right adjustments.
Yeah.
Speaking to that, what's that phrase you just used, Joe? You said playing styles. I get this visual image in my mind of looking at the Blues on one half and the San Jose on the other half. The way they move the puck down low has been very similar.
Yeah.
Big players moving it around in short space, and I'm wondering, I'm afraid right now that that's going to give Elliott a little bit of trouble because Chicago and Dallas with all that speed. And this is just it's just hard to explain in words, but when you play hockey and you got a guy that's really, really, really fast, sometimes because of all that speed, he actually limits what he can accomplish because
all the movement.
Yeah, all the
Absolutely.
movement so quick. But when a team slows down and they're big and they're moving the puck in short spaces, the Blues have taken advantage of that. Dallas and Chicago could not score in part, I believe, because of the way they were moving the puck so fast. And they get a quick shot, and it was stopped, and they would move on. Well, anyway, I'm a little concerned about San Jose doing what the Blues have done to everybody else. I'm worried about that.
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
Sharks tend to move the puck behind the goal line,
Yeah.
especially on the power play. It looked like
Yes.
so.
And that's what the Blues do.
Yeah.
Back and forth. That is going to be a problem.
Yeah, that's
It's
a
the
good.
sort of thing where they know exactly will know exactly what's going on, and so the adjustment is going to have to factor in that they will need to alter that style of play in their offense and defense as well. If one coach catches that the other coach is doing it, then they're going to have to adjust again and again continually through the series.
And that first goal that Pavelski scored in Game 7, the one down low, and I forget who passed it to him exactly, but it looked exactly to me like what the Stasny, Fabry, and Brouwer line has been doing all playoffs.
Yes.
They get the 3 guys down low in the little triangle, and they pass in a real short space and try to roof top shelf, and it's a very successful play.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says from a goalie's perspective, it's the toughest shot. One of the toughest shots to stop, especially on a power play. If that guy can put it on the tape on that guy that's in front down low, and he snaps that shot off, and you're having to hug the post. Now you got to push out to try to get to take away the right side or wherever side he's coming from, the far side. Then anyway, that's just a tough play, and well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very interesting series, and I think that we should be prepared for a long series. Although I don't think anyone is not going to be used to that after both of these round 2s.
All right, let's take a second, just rail all together. Everybody pile on the individual who we don't know, and if we did, we shouldn't even name him because he'd probably be killed tonight if we named him and gave his address. The person who sat down and decided that there was going to be cameras on the blue line during this season and in the playoffs. Now, come on, everybody chime in. How much do you hate that?
Hate it.
I hate that it's reviewable. Plays that are split decisions, and when it's just a fine line right now that his Tarasenko escaping half an inch before the blue line or half an inch past the blue line is going to have zero bearing on how that play turns out.
That's exactly right.
And let me throw this in real quick, this is just theoretical and it's a little hyperbole, but come on now, this could happen per the rule. We could have a Game 7 with the Blues in San Jose. They could enter the zone, okay? It looked a little iffy when they entered the zone. 7 minutes go by of pressure by the Blues, the last 7 minutes of the game, and with 2 seconds left, the Blues score. They go back and review it. Coach, calls a review. They go and review it, and 7 minutes of hockey never existed because somebody's skate was lifted above the blue line.
To me, that's the whole stupid part of it.
Yeah.
There needs to be like a 1 minute rule, or if the play resumes. Once that play resumes, that coach has no right to question it. Instead of just 2 or 3 minutes later, oh, by the way, I just got a call from my guy upstairs. He said that may have been offsides. Let's go ahead and question that. What worries me is the NHL is actually talking about adding more cameras because they think it's been a success.
Isn't there actually already a quote-unquote deadline for when you can challenge the call like that?
I don't know. I looked it up, and I didn't see it. I was looking through the challenge and the rules, and I did not see a timeline. Did you, Nick?
No, I haven't looked at the rule, but certainly in practice, as far as what we've seen unfold, the puck has to stop. There has to be a stoppage in play, and then it's started up again, or it's a restart from that.
I think it has to be called during the same play. If there's a stoppage and a face-off and something happens, they can't call it back after that. So once play stops, you can't challenge anything before that period.
Yeah, so
it's so nebulously defined.
Yeah.
It is.
And I feel like
the biggest problem with it, though, is that hockey's played in a three-dimensional space. This isn't a 2D 8-bit Nintendo NES game.
It's not.
The skate has to be on the ice for the rules. It can't be hovering above the blue line or anything like that, which doesn't make any sense to me because if you've ever skated before, of course, your skate comes off the ice.
Comes off.
You don't skate with your.
You don't skate.
It's
not like you're a train.
Yeah,
you don't leave the ice. And if you look, what's strange is if you look at the rule as to what's onsides and what's offsides, they almost contradict each other because the onside rule basically says that your skate has to be down. And maybe I missed it, Nick Jr., but I could have swore the offside rule doesn't say anything about your skate having to be down. And I might be wrong, but I could have swore when I read those two rules that they almost contradict each other, the offside and onside.
I want to see someone skate backwards across the blue line. Have a hard time figuring out what happened.
That actually happened last year. Patrick Kane did that in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And they called it onside. He brought the puck in behind him. He entered the zone first, skated backwards, pulled the puck in behind him, and they called it onside.
I remember that. Yeah, I had almost forgotten about that.
It made me so mad.
Like we could apply this rule to the puck. Okay, you can only score when the puck is touching the red line.
Yeah.
That's a touch the red line to go across.
No going top shelf
physically.
Right.
Puck
You
needs
have
to
to
touch
keep the
the
puck.
ice.
You have to keep the puck on your stick for 4.3 seconds until you shoot. If you
Right.
shoot it before that, it's no goal.
Goalies' lives just got so much easier.
Oh no! That was one frame too short. We
Yeah,
canceled that.
I think the NHL needs to, the NHL marketing, which is now ran by the same people that do the baseball marketing. I don't know if you guys know that.
MLB Media Association.
Yeah, they've taken that over, and somebody needs to do a better job at marketing hockey, because whatever they're doing, like when they show, like there's a Geico commercial and it shows Backstrom, I believe it is, for the Capitals, skating around with a puck and shooting it in a goal. Most people are going to look at that that don't know hockey and go, oh yeah, that's exciting. Hockey's main problem all these years to me has been, as a person, Gary Bettman, and as the league, their media, how they market the league to markets where there's teams and to where the markets where there's not teams is terrible.
Hey Lance, I was just picturing like some NHL PR guys listening to this show, and he's watching on YouTube right now or whatever, and he's like, that Lance guy's got something. I think what did he just say?
What did he just say?
Did he just say that? Forget it. Don't call him. Hang up.
Yeah.
Don't
We've
call
got it
him.
under control. We're going to make sure we're.
They were going to hire you,
I do
Lance.
agree with you, though. Their media always seems like it's been lacking and kind of trailing behind the other major sports.
Yeah. I was telling Logan, I said, here'd be a great commercial. Show Tarasenko sitting at the front row, dressed in his Blues uniform, at a Boston game. And they're showing the Boston play, from like the glass view of Tarasenko, into Tarasenko. He's got his popcorn and soda. And then Boston scores, and he jumps up and, jumps up and down. And the people next to him look at him, and he goes, what do you think? We just played it? We love the game, too, or something like that. And the NHL would never do something like that. They're too stupid.
That's a good idea. I like that.
Yeah, be a great idea.
Well, okay. Well, then let's see. Hey, Joe, what about Brendan Dillon? Is he going to score? Are you looking for him to generate any offense this game?
I am honestly looking at the players you named earlier, and Patrick Marleau. I think Joe Thornton's probably going to get an assist at some point.
But not Dillon?
No.
I lost
don't
my
think so.
microphone.
Not personally.
It's my headset is going nuts on me. It's bleeping in and out. I'm going to get off the call and then get back on.
Okay.
Sure.
Well,
Yeah, no, I just don't see it personally. He's not a bad player. I just don't see it happening.
So what would happen if, Mark, your opinion on this, what would happen if we had a Ryan Reeves versus Roman Polak fight break out?
I was seriously just going to ask that. And
I want that so badly, please.
honestly, I think Reeves would get handed to himself.
Yeah.
You might. Polak is a big guy. He was the main fighter on the team until he left, and then it was Reeves that took his role.
he wouldn't. I'll tell you this: he wouldn't look like a rag doll in Reeves' hands like some of the guys do. They start getting just thrown around. But I don't think. Yeah, I think he'd have to go man on that one.
Going along with that, how good has Polak been for the Sharks?
Amazing.
Or he was traded.
Yeah.
It's indirect, but he was a big factor in all their wins.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I am so glad that we have Polak now, and I really want to see him get into a fight. I don't know how likely that is with this being the playoffs and all.
I could see Ott and Polak going.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Nikki, was that Cheveldae and Curtis Joseph back in the day with Detroit?
Cheveldae.
Was that? Am I getting that right? Hey, Mark, do you remember? Was that the last goalie fight that I remember the Blues had? Was that Curtis Joseph and Cheveldae, or am I getting that mixed
Oh
up?
God.
Cheveldae.
There was yeah.
That's right.
But it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't Curtis Joseph, but it was back in like
Was it-
'89 or something. Or
Was it
The
Liu?
closest thing I remember after that was 4 or 5 years ago in Montreal. Jansen leveled out Carey Price. He was going to play the puck in the corner. I'm sorry, not the corner, but up in the.
The Blues, old Jansen.
Yes, Cam Jansen.
Huh.
He leveled Carey Price, and then there was a big scuffle between the teams, and Conklin was in net for the Blues. He skated to the center line, and he almost got a penalty because he didn't quite cross it, but he was there.
I vaguely remember that. Yeah.
That was the closest thing I remember.
Every show, my son has to cringe because I always get to mention that every once in a while I get to play with the Blues alumni,
Here it
and I
comes.
got to play with Cam Jansen. And I stopped Cam Jansen on a couple shots.
Nice.
I'm a goalie. I get to play goal. I'm not kidding.
Hey,
Everybody's trying to figure out if I'm kidding around, but I do.
I want to ask you one thing, Nick Senior. I was a goalie for when I played hockey. Every
Okay.
now and again, I'd play right wing when somebody else, when we had another goalie wanted to play or something. But what's funny is people say a goalie mentality, you've got to be a little strange.
Mm-hmm.
And I will agree with him. You've got to be a little.
No. You got that all wrong. It's not a little strange.
It's really strange.
It's a lot.
There's something wrong with a person that wants a little round piece of rubber shot at them at 80 to 95 miles an hour. Yeah, but you love it.
I want to stand in front of that.
100-mile-an-hour shots are crazy.
It's fun.
Yeah, you get a little bit of a persecution complex going on for sure.
Yeah.
What do you
Yeah,
mean
you
by
do.
that? Why are you trying to hurt me? Who hit that?
What's that?
Right. So I do have that too. It carries over.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's like the you might be redneck if jokes. Is you might be a goalie if you only feel comfortable when there's a rubber puck being shot at your head at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's like a comfort level, and then once you leave the game, you feel strange.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, nobody's shooting at me anymore. Darn it.
Does anybody remember those ESPN commercials from the late 80s or early 90s? And it was like a goalie off the clock.
Oh, what was that? Goalie on the clock? What?
Goalie off the clock. I don't know if that's what it was called, but that's what it seemed like. It was
Yeah.
pads, mask still on, doing day-to-day random things.
Yeah, he was out there, like one of them. A guy was out mowing his lawn. And he had his pads on and his helmet on. He's out there mowing the lawn.
Yeah.
In his full gear. Yeah, I remember
I
that.
remember seeing those on YouTube. Yeah.
I'm thinking of the old Rod Hockey commercials with
Oh,
the
Budweiser
Yeah, the
ones.
Budweiser
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
What was that guy's name, Nicky? The guy would say,
Oh,
"No."
Jacques.
Yeah, Jacques. No, Jacques. Don't do it.
Don't do it, Jacques.
Yeah, don't do it, Jacques.
We
Oh,
remade a
man.
modern one of those recently. We made a Blues versus Blackhawks Rod Hockey commercial.
We'll send it out to everybody.
I'll grab you. You can grab the link, stick it out in the Google chat.
All right, whenever we think of something we've done before, we're gonna send it out. So I'm gonna send it. Mark, can you put your Twitter account over? Mark,
Just stick it in the Google chat, and everybody can get it that way.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then Mark, hey, there's one other thing too. If you come on the show, you have to follow Toast's Batch. Joe, that goes. Okay, all right.
It's like you're trying to forcibly upgrade our Twitter account.
Well, look, it's just part of the prerequisite if you're going to be on the show. I don't make the rules. Oh, wait. Yeah, I do.
Who does then?
Yeah, who makes the rules?
Bettman.
Yeah.
And they all suck. Why did we hire him?
Yeah.
I definitely already follow you.
Okay, cool.
What's the general word out there on Toast's Batch, Mark? Are we up and coming? Are we starting to become relevant? Or are we just a bunch of idiots?
Well, I mean, for me, you've been relevant for a few years. Like,
Great.
I just Reddit and Twitter, and just one of those things where I always go and have a laugh so I don't cry or something like that.
You're not at a loss.
Well, that's fun to hear. It's always nice when we hear that people enjoy
When you
doing
see
it.
something really stupid, that's something I've done, and if it seems halfway intelligent, that's something Nick Jr. has done. And you
Okay, well, you've got the right idea then.
Right.
There we go.
The article about the Western Conference Finals being canceled actually popped up in one of my Skype chats, and I'm like, I know this website.
You know, those kind make me mad because Nicky writes that article.
I like my articles.
It's
I thought they're
mildly
funny.
funny, but it's very topical. He gets 20,000 hits on his website from it, and I'm like, and I pour my heart into something, and it'll be like 6 people have read it, and I'll be like, ah!
We set some records with that one actually. The Western Conference Finals one being canceled. That was our most popular article ever.
Yeah, it's the opposite with Logan and I.
Mhm.
My radio podcast on iTunes, the Shot Engine, we get a lot more activity on that than our YouTube show. And Logan's like, I just don't get it. Why would people listen to something and not watch something? I said, well, our main demographic is 38 to 45, and then our second one is 18 to 25.
Yeah, so you definitely got people willing to listen to stuff in there.
Yeah, I got different ages listening there, and Logan's like, and I keep trying to get Logan to come on the radio podcast. No, that's not my thing. You know, I'm a different generation, Dad.
Sure.
I'm like, well, you know, at one time, people used to gather around the radio and listen to it.
Gasp!
Gosh. Yeah, and then my other son's like, yeah, but Dad, that's back when you went down to the local soda jerk and got an egg cream.
So did church.
Oh,
All right, wait a second. You guys know what this is. I'm
Reeling
reeling
it
it
in.
back in. I'm reeling it back. The
real
comedy.
quick,
I'm
before-
just keeping balance. I'm
Before
keeping
we
everything
pull it back,
balanced.
I want to say I do like podcasts. Podcasts are a great thing to listen to, and I think there's something that both generations can enjoy. You've got the older generation and for then it's like internet radio, and for the younger generation, it's,
Your lure just
it's their
broke
thing.
off there, so just give it up. Don't reel any more in.
Okay, Joe, you are why we exist today.
Yes, Joe.
So tell
You're
us
giving
just
Joe
a
a lot
little
of attention
more.
today.
Okay, I'm in. Tell us a little more about tell me this real quick. I want to know, what do you think is the psyche right now about, for Martin Jones? Is he feeling strong? How is he playing? Is it been the competition? Or what's he doing that's going well for him? That was a toilet.
I think the win over his mentor Jonathan Quick was a massive thing going into round 2.
Wow.
I think that really set the scene for a lot of how he's been playing, where Jonathan Quick is generally considered to be a very good goalie, and you have this younger goalie, widely considered to be Jonathan Quick's protege, experiencing success in the games against Quick and in the games immediately after, and I think it's sort of Jones coming into his own right now.
How old is he? Do you know roughly? I mean, he's a young guy, right? Early 20s maybe,
25.
or 25?
He's 25.
Oh, okay. I was just looking on Twitter. I was looking at some trending stuff. Joey Bats, in baseball, he just got mashed in a fight. Took a full
Yeah, did you see that?
face.
There are fights in baseball?
Yeah,
Oh,
fight
yeah.
broke out there. Odor versus Batista.
He
took There's a Vine of it on there right now. If you go to search Joey Bats on Twitter, he took a hard one there.
Yeah, it didn't look too good for his part, at least.
Yeah,
Wow, that's like a hockey
that's a
game.
haymaker.
Yeah.
Shit.
And of course,
Wow.
there's already a crying Jordan meme of it. I just
Oh,
I scrolled
Yeah.
down 3 tweets later, and there it is.
Yep.
Now wait a second. Hey, you guys are way more social media savvy. So when did the crying Jordan really take off?
It was about a year ago or two, right?
Yeah,
That
about
sounds
a
right.
year or two ago.
And so did it take off like a couple days after he started crying in a press conference, or
No.
was that something from way in the past where he was
That was
crying?
from his Hall of Fame induction
Yeah.
like 2 or
That's
3 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so then somebody grabbed that and started using it. Because, man, if we named... Okay, hey, Joe, you got to tell us this real quick, and we'll tell you what has been the hottest memes or, tweets for us on our end. So let's name the top 3. What would you say is the top 3, you guys, right now? Mark, what do you think of the top 3 things out there that we're seeing every game for the Blues?
As far as tweets,
Yeah, tweets, and it could be an image or a GIF or whatever, I guess, within a tweet.
I honestly just a lot of NHL 17 Tarasenko. Sorry, Pavelski.
Yeah.
That's been everywhere. It's been all over the timeline.
Okay, so
It's the
that's
same
in our-
over here. Don't worry.
Yeah. Okay, so that's number 1. What else are we seeing, Nick?
Let's see. Definitely, there were a lot of crying Jordan memes
Sad
right after
Vaughn.
Game 7. Sad Vaughn is probably my favorite one.
Yeah.
Vince Vaughn was shown he was at a Blackhawks game. I think it was the last Blues and Blackhawks regular season meeting, and he was seen looking really sad in the front row, staring off the ice. So someone
I remember
screenshotted that, and
Yeah.
I love that. That's been circulating around for a while. I've been photoshopping him into other situations too, like trying to make him the next crying Jordan, but it hasn't really caught on yet.
During game
Yeah, we had the sad Will Ferrell.
The sad one.
during Game 4 of the Blues Blackhawks series, after Kane high sticked Petrangelo and he was in the box,
Yep.
and then Schwartz ends up scoring. They did a close up of Kane's face, and he just
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, that was
Oh,
really
yeah,
good.
he's just,
He was like, "Oh man, I
well,
can't
what's-
believe this."
What's hot on your end out there, Joe, in San Jose? On Twitter.
Away ice advantage, road ice advantage was a big thing. And that's sort of gone by the wayside because we didn't have that in round 2 because we weren't on the road as much. I expect it to make a slight comeback this round. Joe Pavelski, we talked about that. Yeah, those are like the main ones that I've been seeing.
so that cat that was during warm-ups.
I think just after warm-ups, but before all the pregame ceremonial stuff.
So how did the
I'm not
cat
sure.
get into the stadium?
So-
Did he have a ticket?
They're just strays there, yo.
So now this isn't the same as Raleigh Squirrel and Roar Bacon for the Blues, right? This is somehow
No.
different. This is I mean, so in other words, it was something that could have been seen as a negative omen, and they're trying to put a positive spin on it. Cat
Yes.
rescued.
Yes.
He's got named after your best player. Okay. Well, we'll have to. Okay, so I was curious about that because we're gonna have to find some way to distort
Piggy
that.
Smalls back.
Yeah.
He took a crap in Hitch's office and he hasn't been seen since. I'm not even kidding.
Has Piggy Smalls actually been turned into bacon?
We don't know. Hitch was seen licking his lips though after coming out of the office.
Oh no. Yeah, but yeah, like our small animal thing is slightly different. We also have the NHL cover vote coming along.
Mm-hmm.
You guys also have the Canada Please Adopt Us thing. What's going on there?
Yeah, I
Cool.
saw that recently. Basically,
We're
the Blues are
desperate.
trying to become Canada's team. Yeah, we're desperate for more fans. That's the only way to describe it at this point, I think. But they kept trying to. They wanted to sing "Oh Canada" before the game, but something went wrong with that. I think they're partially doing it in part because of the Fort McMurray fire, and they donated, I think, I want to say 20 or 50,000 towards helping to disaster relief for that.
Right.
We'll go
By
ahead
the way,
and-
Kuhan, one of the head moderators of the Cardinals Reddit,
Mhm.
just sent me a video of Rougned Odor and Joey Bats fighting.
Okay. Tell him I had it first. So we'll go ahead and wrap this up here pretty soon, I guess. But I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on a funny quote from Brian Elliott I saw recently. Hitchcock, they were going through media day for the Blues, and Hitchcock said, someone asked him, "Hey, are you always hard on goalies? What's going on?" And he says, "Well, I wasn't hard on Eddie Belfour because I was always scared of him, and I thought he'd hit me in the head with his Sherwood stick if I ever got on his case."
Huh.
And so then they asked Brian Elliott, said, "Elliott, have you ever wanted to hit Hitchcock with your Sherwood stick?" And Elliott goes, "If I used a Sherwood, I'm sure that would be the case."
Well,
Said if I used a Sherwood, that would
that'd
be the
probably
case.
be the case.
So I
what
love
else?
that quote.
You know what else is funny? In the press conference after Game 7,
Mhm.
Brian Elliott, he was asking that same press conference if Hitchcock had, or the different one, if Hitchcock had talked to him that morning when he came out to skate, and he said no. And then 2 hours later in a press conference with Hitchcock, they asked Hitchcock, did he talk to Elliott? And he says, yeah, but it's a private conversation. So did Hitchcock talk to Elliott, or did he not? I would tend to believe Elliott because I don't think Elliott would, I mean, Hitchcock may consider talking to Elliott by walking by him and pointing a finger at him. I don't. But it was kind of strange that one of them said, yeah, I talked to him, and the other one said, no, we didn't talk to him.
It is kind of odd. I read earlier that Jake Allen left the ice looking upset about something during practice.
Yeah, I heard that too.
He got
was-
hit in the face with a shot in the mask. This is per Jamie Rutherford on Twitter.
Okay.
And then he said everything's fine.
Okay, great. Yeah, I didn't know what had happened there, so thanks for the clarification. I hadn't heard that. Rutherford actually has us blocked on Twitter.
Yeah,
so I don't
Mark,
get to
and
see
we
his
gotta
stuff.
we gotta give you a heads up. It was only because we distorted a couple of his tweets.
We did deserve it, I will say that, but it's been about a year now.
We have
it's been a full year.
repented, and he's not accepting any of our apologies.
We
Which-
did
Which tweet was this that you?
Last year in the playoffs, of course, we wanted Elliott to start, and the Blues started Allen. Allen was letting in a lot of soft goals.
Mhm.
Jeremy Rutherford was always pumping up Allen's tires and never Elliott's. We thought there was some bias there, being encouraged by the Blues and Armstrong. And so the bottom line is, he said at the point that Allen was really tanking,
Basically,
we
knew the
sent out a
series was
tweet.
over
We
at this point.
distorted his tweet, and we took it. Looked exactly like he had sent it out, and it said something like "Yank Allen now, he sucks" or something. And he didn't. Oh man, he could have lost his job on that one. Which
Yeah.
I really felt like afterwards. Nick Jr. kept saying, "Don't do it, Dad. Don't do it." I'm like, "I'm gonna do it," and I sent it. And so ever since then, he's banned us. So, and I wanted to mention you, Mark. You can say Jeremy Rutherford's name 3 times in the show, and then you're out. So you got one.
What if you call him JR? Does that count?
JR, that counts for 2 because it's a nickname.
Right? Yeah, that was actually 2.
Dang it.
Beetlejuice.
Jeff Ponder from he's a local podcaster / radio guy at times in St. Louis.
to go
And
on
we've
the
asked him
morning
to tell Jeremy that, hey, we're sorry, Jeremy. It was us. It was a part of our how do they say that, maturation process. We just didn't know any better. But he hasn't bought it yet. He won't let us back in.
We asked Charlie Marlowe to tell him too, and Marlowe said, "Yeah, I'll tell him, and I'll tell him you guys made a public apology on your podcast." And we still haven't heard anything back from him. So
that's because Rutherford.
Maybe we should ask Patrick Marlowe.
Yeah, back to Patrick Marlowe. We'll get him.
That'd be crazy.
So Rutherford's interviewing Patrick Marlowe after the game, and Marlowe says, "Hey, you should really follow Toast Dispatch on Twitter."
Now, Mark, that was an inside joke earlier about the crazy. I don't know if you caught that. This is good. We're tying in a whole bunch of jokes from earlier on.
I don't know the Charlie Marlowe one.
Okay, well, what happened was earlier Joe had said insane 4 times, and I looked up the synonyms for insane, and I said he could say batty, bizarre, crazy, or deranged.
Hey,
but he couldn't say insane anymore the rest of the show.
Pop,
and I listened.
And he hasn't. That's because he's pretty good.
Pop trivia question for you guys real quick here. Does anyone have some synonyms for the word synonym?
I'll look it up.
No looking it up. No Google.
How about same?
Probably like a what rhymes with the word question.
Same.
It's not same.
I guess it's same.
It would be same. It's synonym.
Same. True.
That's a meme on the Cardinals Reddit, though, so that's why I was laughing about that one.
Same.
Same. There we go. I can't believe that worked its way into the show. Okay, I got to settle about wrap it up for the Toast Dispatch radio show. Does anybody else have anything else they want to talk about, or are we out here? Because once we start talking about our Cardinal memes, I think we're kind of hitting rock bottom here.
Yeah, I mean, hey, and wanted to mention too that we're not just narrow. We don't just got the oh crud, I can't think what you call it. What do you call it? The blinders on? We don't have just blinders on in the show. We have, well, what am I trying to get to? Well, the bottom line is that we talk about lots of different things. So if you guys want to talk about marital problems, anything, we can talk about the show. It doesn't have to be just hockey.
Are you a licensed therapist?
I'll probably come on later in the
I'm a
postseason
goalie.
to talk about my drinking.
Oh,
There we go.
Right.
I tell you,
we can talk about that too.
Goalies could help a lot of people with their issues. Really good.
Right, because we've been down every road possible.
We've had issues.
Right.
That's why you're goalies.
Yeah.
Hey, we should. Hey, Lance, me and you got to get a half puck and glue it to the side of our head while we're talking.
There you go.
It's like the arrow that you stick on your head.
Yeah, have one half on one side and the other half on the other side.
There you go.
Hey, Joe, tell us real quick. You said you were in school for marine biology, or you are a marine biologist?
I'm in school for marine biology. Yeah, I actually have my first journal article coming out on Wednesday.
Okay, then tell me this real quick. I got so mad last night. Jimmy, what's that show called? Not Jimmy Fallon, but Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel got on his soap. Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Kimmel?
No,
Kimmy, I call him. He got on his soap opera platform and he started talking about global warming.
Oh,
but
God.
then he went, which I was okay with because I believe that it is, and I believe that the reasons why are true. Carbon, too much this, too much that.
Don't get me going on that.
I know, but then he made this. He started trying to drive home some of the negative things that could happen, and he kept talking about water rising. Okay, now as a marine biologist, would you please inform the public that the worst danger here isn't water rising? And I want to mention that you don't put the fear of God in people who live in Colorado that the ocean's rising, right? So, as a marine biologist, will you explain to people what happens to the top layer of the ocean and the food chain and how it's all interconnected and the bigger problem with the ocean warming and the earth warming?
So, if the sea levels rise, then sharks will be able to eat saber-toothed cats.
No.
And that's going to insanely destabilize the food web to the point where we have two traditionally underperforming teams in the third round of the playoffs.
That was the best one ever.
I was trying to be serious.
That might be one of our top 5 moments in this podcast, I gotta say.
You opened yourself up for that one, Nick.
I was hoping you tied into land sharks there. It's like sharks will be able to get onto land and they'll start walking around and eating the citizens of San Jose.
And then we're going to have Sharknado, my God.
Yes!
I'm sending that video out right now. I'll send it out in just a second to everybody. Now, Joe will be appearing at the Funny Bone in L.A. next week, just to let everybody know.
San Diego.
I'm
Sure.
sending it. Okay, now Nick, you stall for 3 minutes and just talk about the weather or something while I get this out to everybody.
How about that weather, everybody? We had some storms. We've had some Sharknadoes. We've had
What
some,
is weather?
what is weather? Well, technically speaking,
Yeah.
I don't even want to go there.
Guys, I'm originally from around Palm Springs, California, in a town called Indio, California, where I was born. And the only thing I knew about weather out there was 364 days out of the year it was going to be sunny, and it would rain one day.
I really envy the people on the West Coast. It's so nice out there all the time. And it's we get over here we're jumping back and forth between 70-degree weather, 80-degree, close to 90 and 60-degree.
The whole thing about California is people say it's a dry heat. Well, if you go to Palm Springs in August, it's 123 degrees, and it's a dry heat. But let me tell you, my God, it's hotter than hell.
Yeah.
I grew up
123
in
degrees
Prescott Valley in Arizona, so don't
Yeah.
tell me about dry heat.
Yeah.
There's
It's different. It's different than the heat out here, but it's still hot. Trust me.
Yeah, like sure, it's a different sort of heat, but it's 125 degrees. It's
Yeah.
It's like
hot.
sticking your head in an oven.
Right. There's a
That's,
scene
that's
from
exactly
King of the
right.
Hill.
It's like sticking your head in an oven.
There's a scene from King of the Hill where they go to Phoenix for some reason,
Yeah.
and they all step out of the car and everything around them's all melting, and one of
Yeah.
them goes, he goes,
Hang on,
Phoenix is
hang on, man, dang on.
Oh, what? Yeah. And so he goes, Phoenix is a testament to man's stupidity. There shouldn't be a city here. It's too hot.
It's too hot. San Jose's weather, I'll have to say, Joe, is pretty nice. It's pretty nice weather. It does get a little hot in the summers, but overall, it's got nice weather.
Mhm.
I say that having been to San Jose maybe 5 times in my life.
Yeah, we keep saying San Jose. It's San Diego, but we've claimed you're from L.A., San Diego, San Jose. Let's stick you on the East Coast now. So you're from Boston, right,
Boston.
Joe?
San Diego weather's even
It's why I'm a
nicer.
Joe Thornton fan. It's why I root for him.
San Diego weather's even nicer than that. So
Yeah.
Mhm. So we'll go ahead and wrap this up then, I guess. We'd like to thank everybody for coming on. You can catch up with Joe on Twitter at Joe M. Cuevas.
Yes.
You can check out his podcast about baseball. You said it's the Rain
Podcast
Delay,
for
right?
Rain Delay at Rain Delay Cast, hosted by 2 guys from our Cardinals. So we'll see
Alright.
how that goes.
I'll have to check that out sometime. And so, do you guys just broadcast whenever there's a rain delay?
The idea behind it is it's you listen to it during a rain delay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I gotcha. I like that. And so then you can also check out Lance and his son Logan on the Drop podcast. And I think their Twitter is official The Drop, right?
yes, it is.
All right. And then you can check out Mark. Thanks for coming on the show today. We enjoyed having you on. And what's
I
your
have
Twitter?
nothing relevant to add to what you guys have as far as credentials. So
So you can feel free to throw out your Twitter though if you want to.
yeah, it's at 6686, and that's all spelled out.
Okay, 6686.
Mhm.
All right. So thanks everybody for coming on again, and we'll go ahead and
Absolutely.
enjoy the series. And Joe, if you want to come on again later on in the series, we'd love to have you again.
Absolutely. I'll let you know.
Definitely.
Thanks,
Great, thanks, guys.
thanks everybody. Okay, see ya. See you, Mark.
All right,
see you,
we'll see
Joe. See you guys.
Let's go Blues.
See you, Lance.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's stop.